Riot has made the ADC meta pretty stale lately by not including major updates to the bot lane role as a whole. Whether it be with items and how they interact, the bot lane champions themselves in comparison to other roles, or by changing how the game interacts with marksmen in general. With this in mind, I would like to share with you opinions on how we can improve the lackluster feeling of the bottom lane. This is Sepher, and welcome to an episode of League of TheoryCraft. Marksman's itemization has only been starting to fluctuate heavily more than any season, with the changes to IE and its inevitable revert, Stormrazor, and lastly the hard nerf to crit items in general left a bad taste in players who have been maining these champions. In patch 8.11 they introduced Stormrazor and they updated Infinity Edge. The nerfs to ADC's items have left them in a weak position, requiring more ramp up time in a game that is already short. The result became the Stormrazor meta, where most ADCs were building that as core item then into their regular crit build. Only now are they getting some love in 2019, but is it enough? Who's to say how the meta will pan out? But an idea on how they could go about making items better for marksmen is by giving certain items different passive effects based on if they are melee or ranged. For example, with IE, Riot could make the percent true damage only work for melee and the increased crit damage for range. They could expand the way the items work without adding items to the game. The item changes in patch 8.11 were not the only highlight of the downfall of most marksmen. The base stat adjustments were a kick to the stomach. Things like health regen, armor, and MR are much lower at similar levels compared to other champions. Although they have higher AD and attack speed at level 18, it's still minimal compared to how much lower their other stats are at similar levels. Coupled with this and poor ramp up with items, it feels underwhelming when you are a 3-0 AD compared to something like Aurelia who doesn't need kills to be strong if she has a completed Trinity Force. My idea is to give a much bigger ramp up in terms of base stats so that even if they are falling behind, they will have more opportunities to make plays instead of the inevitable FF at 15. We could start by making the AD growth stat and attack speed growth even higher to give them a quicker ramp up without touching items. Because with how short the games are in higher elos, it's hard to feel the impact, and it would be one way to start bringing them back into a healthier spot than to just buff their items. Another contributor to marksman performance is the game length. Games inevitably have been getting shorter and shorter. Back in the early days of League, games could last up to 30 minutes to an hour, and it wasn't surprising if it happened. Nowadays, season after season, the game's playtime has been slowly dropping. The change was caused by Riot's attempts to make the game more snowbally. Riot has recently experimented with features to allow comebacks to happen more frequently if the team possessed the skill to do so. Tower plating and updating the bounty system was a great start, but it hasn't changed the pace of the game too much. Some would say that tower plating and minions giving bounty to champions who farmed well enough caused even more of a snowball effect, while the others would say that proper play can be used to gain advantages. Games still feel shorter as a result. And with this, anyone can come to the conclusion that ADCs have to have time to ramp up. This can cause an issue with how players interact with the ADC role. More people have to lean towards unique builds and playstyles to even have a little impact unless their skill is far beyond their rank. A possible solution would to give the ADC role more agency, like decreasing everyone's ability to take objectives, and give it to the ADC role such as reduce damage to turrets from anyone but marksmen and give them more damage to set objectives. It's not a foolproof idea, but something they could play around with to give ADCs more of a role in the game. With how Riot has been working to give more variety to the game, we can only hope that they take much strides into giving ADCs more value without making them useless or overbearing. Whether it be with updating their itemization, giving them a little more stat-wise, or simply giving them more agency on how the game plays out. I trust that Riot will do what they think is necessary and would hope to consider every aspect on how they could go about making the marksman role great again. Thank you so much for listening to what I have to say on the current topic. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to talk to you guys about other ideas people may have come up with, and if you liked the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and would love to see you in the next one. Have a nice day.